All right, we're about to take a look at a version of Earth that you have definitely never seen before. We're talking about a world with hidden continents and lost histories that are going to completely change the map you think you know.
So let me ask you a simple question. How many continents are there? We all learned the answer in grade school, right? 7. Easy. But what if I told you that geologists are finding some pretty compelling evidence that our geography books, well, they might be missing a few huge pieces of the puzzle?
Because it turns out, deep beneath the waves, and sometimes even buried right under the ground we walk on, there are entire lost worlds. We're talking drowned continents and hidden histories that are totally redrawing our understanding of the planet.
Okay, so let's start with the prime suspect, the most famous of these hidden worlds. I want you to meet Zealandia, a massive, almost entirely hidden landmass lurking in the South Pacific. Yep, you're seeing that right. A staggering 94% of this continent is completely underwater. So when you look at a map and see New Zealand and New Caledonia, what you're actually seeing are just the highest mountain peaks of a much, much larger world.
You know, for decades, scientists were totally baffled by this region. The crust here was way too thick to be normal ocean floor, and when they finally managed to sample the rock, they found things like granite and schist. These are the building blocks of continents, not the basalt you find at the bottom of the sea. It was a full-on continental puzzle hiding in plain sight.
And listen, this isn't just a handful of islands. To give you some scale, Zealandia is a single, unified piece of continental crust. We're talking about something 20 times bigger than New Zealand. It's a real continent, just a drowned one.
Which, of course, brings us to the big question. We tend to think of continents as these permanent, solid, unsinkable things. So how on earth does something that massive end up at the bottom of the ocean?
Well, to understand this, we need to talk about one of the most fundamental differences in our planet's geology. And believe it or not, we're going to do it with pizza.
So the entire surface of our planet, its outer skin, is called the crust. And just like pizza crust, it comes in two very, very different styles. Just think of it this way. The continental crust, that's what we live on, is like a Chicago deep dish pizza. It's thick, it's light, it's buoyant, so it floats up high on the Earth's mantle. But the oceanic crust, that's more like a classic New York slice. It's thin, it's dense, and it's heavy, so it sinks down lower, creating these perfect basins for our oceans to fill. So go back about 85 million years ago. When Zealandia broke away from the supercontinent Gondwana, it didn't just drift off peacefully. It was pulled and stretched by these immense tectonic forces. Its thick, deep dish crust got stretched out until it was as thin as a New York slice. And once it got that thin, it lost its buoyancy, it sank lower, and the Pacific Ocean just rushed right in to cover it all up.
And here's the kicker. Zealandia is just the beginning. Our planet's history is literally littered with these ghost continents, and every single one has its own incredible story of how it got lost.
Take Argoland, for example. For 155 million years, a chunk of Australia, the size of the United States, was just missing from the geologic record. Scientists finally tracked it down, but it hadn't sunk. Instead, it had shattered into an archipelago of fragments, now scattered all across Southeast Asia, hidden underneath the jungles. Then you have a place like Sunderland. During the last ice age, sea levels were much lower, and that revealed this huge land bridge connecting what is now Indonesia and Malaysia. This wasn't a tectonic continent, but it was a drowned world that became a literal superhighway for the first humans to populate the region.
And right next door was Sahul, another one of these Ice Age supercontinents that connected Australia and New Guinea. This was the world that Australia's first people explored, a huge landscape roamed by giant marsupials, which then completely vanished beneath the waves as the glaciers started to melt.
But continents can be lost in other ways too. Greater Adria didn't sink, it was annihilated. About 100 million years ago, it slammed into Europe. Most of this Greenland-sized landmass was basically shoved down into the Earth's mantle. But the pieces that got scraped off the top, they were crumpled up to form the Alps.
Okay, so why does any of this matter, really? Finding continents that vanished millions of years ago isn't just a cool piece of trivia. It fundamentally changes how we see our world. Every single lost continent we find rewrites a chapter of our planet's history. Sunderland and Sahul completely reshaped the story of human migration. Zealandia and Greater Adria give us a crash course in the unbelievable forces of plate tectonics. And all of them together prove that the map we see on our wall, it's just a single frame in a very, very long movie of a planet that is always constantly in motion.
These discoveries just go to show that our planet still holds these profound mysteries, literally right under our feet. It really makes you wonder, What other hidden worlds are just out there waiting to be found?